Jim Jordan and the House had this whole investigation and committee into the kind of government censorship around stuff like this. And we produced all these documents and it's all in the public domain. I mean, basically, these people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse. And it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Mr. Flaherty, what was your official title during your time at the Biden White House?
Congresswoman, when I was at the White House, I was assistant to the president and director of digital strategy.
And that is an appointed position, correct?
It is, Congresswoman.
Okay. Now, did you take an oath to the United States Constitution when you assumed this appointment?
Yes, Congresswoman.
Perfect. And you're familiar with the First Amendment?
I am.
Can you please outline the 5 tenets of the First Amendment for me?
Congresswoman, I'm not going to be able to do it off the top of my head, but generally the First Amendment relates to freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, and off the top of my head, I'm not able to recall all of the planks.
Oof, well, that's disappointing and a little embarrassing, but not surprising considering what we're dealing with here today.
I'll say in general, we were lifting up examples of content that we felt were violating.
When you say we, I just want to know which human beings were involved in deciding, like, this Leonardo DiCaprio meme had to go.
In general, we were discussing specific pieces of content when we were discussing.
Again, I know you guys love pronouns, but we is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the names of the people.
Congressman, I'm not authorized to.
Well, you wrote an email on April 25th.
I knew this is coming. This is just incredible. Brian Sether is attacking Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg for committing to free speech. He said Zuckerberg announcement is a MAGA makeover and would turn away liberals. For years, conservatives were censored and silenced by big tech. These people were extremely excited. They advocate for that. Now, tables are turning. They are crying everywhere. Some love X, like we cannot be on Twitter again, going to other social media platform. Now Meta is doing the same thing. I don't know if they are going to run Instagram and Facebook also, or create theirs like they claim every single day.
We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes.
It's caused this misinformation and lying going on.
Alternative facts.
This alternative facts that Kellyanne Conway, she said alternative facts. This guy Zuckerberg, I saw the movie, wasn't it Social Network?
Yes.
Where he says basically, I'm creating Facebook so people have a community, so that people can talk to each other. All of a sudden, it's become this big thing and a big lying machine that's going on. And the wokeness is what is at the bottom of it.
2 days later,
I think a lot of people look at this as like a purely political thing. It's because they kind of look at the timing and they're like, hey, well, you're doing this right after the election. It's like, okay, I try not to like change our content rules like right in the middle of an election either, right? It's like there's not like a great time to do this. It's
right. And you want to do it a year later.
Yeah, it's like there's no good time to do it. There's and whatever time is going on, there's going to be, so. The good thing about doing it after the election is you get to take this kind of cultural pulse as like, okay, where are people right now and how are people thinking about it? We try to have policies that reflect, mainstream discourse. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is something I've been thinking about for a while. I think that this is going to be pretty durable because at this point we've just been pressure tested on this stuff for like the last 8 to 10 years with like these huge institutions just pressuring us and I feel like this is kind of the right place to be going forward.
Yes, this get me irritated when I look at this. When they were censoring conservatives on social media, I never saw a single day this same doing videos, putting out segments like this to talk against that. I never saw that. Now, because these people want free speech, is getting them angry. I don't understand why. This is transparency. You should know why you are wrong. Community note is important, though I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg, but it's still a good move. If Trump didn't win, we would not see this. That clearly shows you what was going on. He is acknowledging that this was happening.
There's a difference between free speech and hate speech, and we know that. Free speech, I welcome. I think everyone welcomes. It's your constitutional right. When you start delving into hate speech, which is what is happening all over social media, there's a problem with that. When delving into misinformation and disinformation, there's a problem with that. Meta's new hate speech guidelines permit users to call people in the LGBTQ plus community mentally ill. That is harmful. That is harmful. And the last thing I'll say is, let's just break it down to bare bones. This is about President-elect Trump going back to the White House. Mark Zuckerberg and Meta dined with Trump at Mar-a-Lago in November. Meta just donated $1 million to support his inauguration. Zuckerberg also elevated Joel Kaplan, the highest-ranking Meta executive closest to the Republican Party, to the company's most senior policy role. And on Monday, Zuckerberg said Dana White, the head of the Ultimate Fighting Championship and an ally of Trump's, would join Meta's board. This is about the fact that our many corporations, and especially these oligarchs that own these social media companies, are bowing down to Trump so that they can make money off of the American people.
We have a bit of a conversation here. So this is actually more complex than we're making it, but on the free speech of it, and I actually agreed with Mark Zuckerberg. Of course, there's pressure because Trump's coming into office, but I do think that there's a cultural and societal desire to be able to talk about things openly. And actually, liberals used to be the ones who were super pro-free speech. The famous saying goes, I disagree with what you're saying, but I'll defend to the death your right to say.
Yes, so but I will not defend to the death your right to call me.
Here.
Sometimes it happens like this. Be nice. She didn't talk for 20 minutes.
And I always like hearing to say.
Go ahead.
But that's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to make the point that hate speech, something that incites violence, is not legally ever protected under the First Amendment. My ability to say a housewife is a household object, I can say that. It can offend you. I don't agree with it, but you absolutely, under the First Amendment, have a right to say it. And the fact that we're policing speech because it makes people uncomfortable or they don't like it or it offends them, I don't think it's how we should engage it.
If somebody decides, as they do often on these social media places, to call me
not even say the word.
Well, let's be.
I get death threats on social media.
If we're going to have this conversation, then let's have it.
All right, go ahead.
Because if we're going to do that, we have to do that. Okay. So there are certain things where we all agree, boy, you shouldn't be saying that. That is not curbing your free speech. It's asking you to, not you, asking one to respect the fact that people don't want to hear that word when it has to do with them or Native Americans or women or any of these things. And that's my point.
But by the way, there is an element of choice that...
This reminded me of something I saw recently. Gavin Newsom is now playing the victim and says that people who criticize his government failure at wildfire prevention are engaging hurricane force winds of disinfo. He also wants Joe to deal with it. And Biden has just few days to go. I don't know if social media platforms will be engaging in this. Meta CEO founder Mark Zuckerberg told podcaster Joe Rogan that members of Joe administration here are his employee, demanding they take down content on their behalf. We saw what happened few days ago when Mark Zuckerberg came out against censorship. When I saw that, compared to what he did in the past, a lot of people are concerned with that. Mark Zuckerberg is a billionaire. Yes. I don't believe that if he was not giving into these people, this will be happening. After Trump wins, Mark Zuckerberg is certainly changing his thought. Now look at what is coming out. Some says this is a big RICO case that he has just put out against the Biden administration.
Fires are a celebrity cover-up. Hear me out, okay? No. Where I live is on fire right now. Literally, the entire city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, you know, I flew here last night. I was on the plane, started getting texts.
So I am evacuating my home.
What we need to do against what we know is right, and these are the results.
Trump is now calling that Gavin Newsom should step down.
This is you getting water to areas that need water because there are fires in 100-mile-an-hour winds burning houses to the ground. I watched on a Ring camera a guy have to sit and watch his pet burn to death. You know, those things are issues of the heart when you watch a cherished little pet, or, you know, it's just you.
The situation is beyond control. I'll be updating you, giving you more information to what I'm observing on social media. I didn't want to report this, but people keep sending this to me. God bless you.
Health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
What do we do?
Right now you're looking to remember it.
As a country about yeah, we were just talking about the wildfire situation and how crazy it is that they
so funny. And then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know, but it's like, you know, it's sad.
I want to be
He has denied any